Great. Okay. So yeah, I'm Liberty Rose. I recently graduated from the University of Brighton with a first class in fashion communication with business studies. And now I'm a digital illustrator at Mad About Doing Zine. And I also recently became a shop manager at a vintage clothing store. So this is one of the pieces which is in the exhibition. And this is one of the pieces I did when I was at uni for a magazine called Cult Mag, which we did an issue of, and it was about Brighton. And so for this shoot, I planned a tea party with drag queens. And you don't maybe get it from this picture, which kind of has a lot of mood to it, but it was a really fun experience. There was a lot of cake smashing in faces and things like that. But yeah, I really love this photo. And this is another picture from the exhibition, which is a still life image. This was to accompany an article on consent. And here's the other one. I like this one, but I think I'm biased because obviously my surname is Rose. So I think it kind of fits me quite well. And this is another one. This is really, this is obviously a portrait and beauty shot, but another one that I did during my studies. It was an independent shoot with my friends modeling, and we just got a load of stickers and stuck them all over her face. And she was staring at the camera lights for so long that she started to water up, and it was the perfect moment. And another one from the exhibition. This is also a collage as well as a photograph. So the pieces in the background are all hand cut, and then they've been scanned in. So this is one of the images I took on like one of my first shoots in my degree. So a lot of it was focused on fashion photography, which is why clothing and styling is really important in my work. And this is for a shoot called Welcome to the Dollhouse. I think my photography really grew while I was in my studies. I also did photography A-level at school. But yeah, so my work's pretty much very fashion forward thinking. In the lockdown, I was doing my final year, but because of all the restrictions, I couldn't really go out and take photographs as much, couldn't get access to equipment or models. So I started to do a lot of collage, and that's actually really changed where I go now. I also do a lot of digital illustration. The piece, The Banana, has been in a gallery in London, the S&P Graduate Showcase. So yeah, I really had to adapt my practice during the pandemic to be able to still make work. And so digital collage is where I took this, and this was another piece that went into the S&P Gallery in London. And I actually really found more of my style in doing the collage. And what I ended up doing is incorporating my photography into the collage. And these are more of my recent prints since graduating. Since graduating, I haven't been able to use the uni photography department anymore, so the cameras, and mine's a little bit outdated. I'm saving up for a new camera. So I've just been doing a lot of collage prints, which are all going to be up for sale on my website. A lot of my work really focuses on climate change and like social issues. And these have just been more like experimental prints recently, just trying to figure out where I want to go after uni. But I'm really liking the direction that these are taking. And I think there's going to be a lot more of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I sell prints on my website. When this video is live, my website will be fully updated. And so all of these will be available to buy.
They're fantastic. I really enjoy these prints at the end. They're just so whimsical, but fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I think they're really developing into something.
And what really got you into photography to begin with?
So when I was younger, I collected vintage cameras from like boot fairs and charity shops. One of them I think was a gift from like my old boyfriend, his like great grandpa's camera or something, and I started collecting them. Most of them didn't even work, and then I got a few that did work, and I started taking photos. I think just like in the garden, and then I got subscriptions to fashion magazines, and my whole bedroom wall was just covered in pictures from these fashion magazines. So it was almost like a live collage in itself. And and then I just kind of went with that path at school and did a foundation year and specialised in fashion photography. And then here I am now.
That's fantastic. And amongst your works, which actually would you say is your favourite?
I think, like, it's always such an impossible question. I think for me, it's always my most recent thing. So these two pieces at the moment I'm really keen on. I love the Let's Have a Kiki one as well. But the banana, which I do actually have behind me, it's not hung on the wall yet because I've just moved. But the banana is also like I think one of my favorite pieces. Yeah.
I do
It's
enjoy
usually
the banana one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just quite happy, and I think because it's one of the first pieces that I've ever exhibited as well, it's got a lot of happy memories for me. Yeah.
So you were into the fashion photography. Was there any sort of research you performed before doing a shoot?
Yeah. I made a few mistakes in the beginning sort of days of it and realized there is research that you do need to do, such as like light times of the day when the sun's going down, maybe going to the beach, the wave tide times. I've made that mistake before. I prepare, so I find the models and I work out the location. I make mood boards based on the like lighting, the shots, poses. All the outfits have to be planned beforehand, as well as the makeup. So there is a lot of research that goes into it beforehand, definitely, and just making mood boards for like inspiration, so that when I go on shoot, I can show the model what I've got in my head, and sort of they can see it in a visual way and understand it.
And you do all of this by yourself, do you? Obviously, other than the model part.
Yeah, unless it's I've done a lot of group work obviously in my uni days, and that would be more collaborative, like shared mood boards on Pinterest and things like that. But a lot of the shoots are independent, and so yeah, I do it all myself and just organize it as much as I can, and then get in the studio, and once I'm behind the camera it just whizzes past.
That's amazing. You're doing so much work as one person. It's so admirable. It really is.
Yeah, with the pandemic, it made that really more of a focus. I mean, before that, I think it would have been much more collaborative, especially with the course that I was doing at uni. You would get a stylist, you'd get the photographer, you'd have a director, we'd all work together. But in the last year, we couldn't do that. So I did everything for my final major project. I styled it, directed it, filmed it, edited it, did some of this. I ended up getting some help with the sound design, but other than that, I had to make the whole thing myself, which was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding.
Yeah, it sounds like it's rewarding. The things that you have actually come out with are just so great to look at. And I'd be so proud of them if they were mine.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough experience, but it was definitely worth it, and I learned a lot from it, and it's definitely helped me be ready for the industry. Yeah.
And what do you think makes a good photograph?
Hope my teachers aren't watching. Composition is like one of the most essential things, but I think the mood, like getting across some kind of message, is really what makes an image successful.
What advice would you give a budding photographer?
don't give up. I mean, there was a lot of times when I was younger and I just thought, everyone's got a smartphone now. What, what's the point? Blah, blah, blah. But if you've got creativity in you, I think you always just need to follow that passion and just try and get it out of you in some way. Absolutely. And just, don't give up. There's so many opportunities out there. I spend too much time on Instagram telling myself I am working, but you do need to just be out and talking to the community and getting involved in things. There is no harm in shooting people an email and say, hey, can I help out in some way with this project? Just get as much experience as is possible, really.
That is really good advice. And it's some of the most important things you need to do, whether as an artist, a photographer, or just anything in the creative arts. You need to not give up and believe in yourself and just put yourself out there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That is exactly what I think. I went out clubbing in Brighton one night, and this drag queen and I talked for hours, and I was saying I was feeling a bit like giving up and dropping out and things, and this drag queen just sat me down and was like, you are a creative person and you're not going to give up because you're a creative person. And that really stuck with me, definitely.
And do you have anything that's coming up that you'd like to just advertise?
So I just recently had a meeting with a gallery in Brighton called Tebbs Gallery, and I've just signed up. I'm going to be selling work through them very soon, but also we are currently working on a graduate showcase. So I will be hopefully collaborating with quite a few artists in the future.
That's all really exciting, and well done on being able to get a gallery to sell your artwork through them. That's incredibly tough, but incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I'm really excited, really excited.